Hey everybody, it's Erica here, and I just want to introduce a new series of videos that I am going to be sharing with you over the next probably like 5 months. If you caught one of my reels earlier this week, or I guess it was late last week, I announced that I am getting ready to publish another Pixie book. Yay! For those of you who don't know, I published this book, Pixie and the Bees, in November 2020, and it is a story about a pixie who is out minding her own business one day, swallows a swarm of angry bees, and they live inside of her. No one else can see them or hear them or feel them, and she's all alone until she learns how to release the bees and have some faith in herself. And she still feels a little unwell, but mostly she's really happy and gets to enjoy her friends again. And I wrote this story based on my experience on how I felt or how I feel with my anxiety. I feel like I just have bees constantly buzzing through my body at all times. And so I decided to write a story about it. And that's how Pixie and the Bees came to be. So it's always been my intention to release more than one Pixie book, and I'm so excited that that moment is here. One of the questions I get a lot is, how do you publish a book? Like, how does it happen? And so what I decided to do is that I would actually document some of the key phases, or some of as I move through the process. And so I'm going to be doing these videos, and I'm guessing like one a week or something like that. And then you can see how I go from a story that I've written to a published book. Pixie and the Bees, like I said, it came out in November 2020. It's been sold over 300 times, so there's 300 copies or more out there in the world, worldwide. It's being used in school districts, social work offices across the country, and it's a favorite on bookshelves as well. I hear from a lot of parents, and I hear from a lot of adults who have the book and really got something out of it. Sorry, my cat. There's Lucy. Yeah, she's very, Lucy, look, you say hi to everybody. Yeah, Lucy will probably be in some of the videos too. So, today's really just, I want to just introduce the idea that I'm going to be doing this series, and then maybe later this week I'll post this first step. Although technically, I guess today is the first step, because I want to share that you have to actually write this story before you can publish it. And in this series of videos, I'm not actually going to go into a lot of detail about the writing process. We talk about the writing process all the time in my regular feed, and also in my writing groups that I offer, and in my writing mentorships that I do. So if you want to talk about the writing process, that's something I love to talk about, and we can certainly do that. You can reach out to me anytime if you want to talk about that. But this series is going to be really about how to take that story that you've written and get it published. However, you do have to write the story first. So very briefly, I will share how my new Pixie story came to be, and I'll even share the name of it. I was going to try to come up with a clever reel idea on how to do the announcement, and honestly, it's just too much, and I'm just going to tell you. Pixie and the Bees is actually the second Pixie story that I wrote, and not many people know that. So Pixie and the Bees is the second one I wrote. The first Pixie story that I wrote is the one that I'm going to publish next. The first Pixie story is the one that I wrote while I was at Halliburton School of Art and Design, and I was in a writing class, and we were learning about memoirs, and we were learning about fables, and we were doing all different types of writing, and we had to write a bit of our story. I think it was as a fable, or just like pretending we were, I think it was as a fable actually. And so I did. I wrote a story about me as a fable, and then I took another memoir course at Halliburton, and in that one it was just write a memoir, and I decided to use some of those strategies from the first course into this one, and I wrote a story in, like, basically we were given like an entire day to write. We showed up, they're like, okay, here's, like, write your story and leave and come back 8 hours later, 6 hours later, and I wrote a story. And that was the one that I wrote. And it's called, ready? Geez, drum roll. Pixie and the Fox. Yay! So Pixie and the Fox was the first one that I wrote, and that's the one that I'm publishing next. I have made a lot of changes to it since the original, but ultimately I made the changes because I wanted it to stay in line with Pixie and the Bees. I wanted it to follow some of the same patterning, because it's not just a series. What did they call them? Like a complementary book? I can't remember. Anyways, so it's not like you have to read them in order or anything, but it's the same character. So I did want it to follow the same theme. It's going to visually kind of have the same idea. It's going to be illustrated. And if you saw my reel the other day, you will know that Brooklyn Holbrow is the illustrator of this book, Pixie and the Bees, and she has agreed to illustrate my new book, and I couldn't be happier about that. So illustrations will look similar. It is a longer story. Pixie and the Fox is longer, so it will be longer. But yeah, so first you just have to write it, because as I said, I've been working through it, rewriting it and editing, and I'll talk more about that maybe in my next one, but you need to have something to start with. So Pixie and the Fox began in this course, I think it was 5 years ago, and then a couple of years after that I wrote Pixie and the Bees and then published it, and then Pixie and the Fox is making its comeback, its debut. I don't know, we'll see. So yes, so here's what you need to know if you are interested in learning how I go from like a story to a book. You are going to have to follow me at Open Skies Stories. I'm going to be sharing these on Instagram, on Facebook, in my newsletter, and you can click the links in my bio to sign up for my newsletter. Also share them on my YouTube channel, because I don't really use it that much, but I do have a YouTube channel, and I think it's called Open Sky Stories, but I'm not 100% sure. And you can also follow hashtags. I'm going to be using 2 hashtags consistently. One of them is hashtag Pixie and the Fox, and the other one is hashtag from story to book. So you can follow both of those hashtags and me, and sign up for stuff, and then you can, follow my journey. And I'm super duper excited to share the journey with you, and to introduce you to the rest of the team that's working on the project with me, and to share my story with you and Pixie's story. So this is a really long video, but I needed to set the stage. These videos that I share will not be high tech or anything crazy, because it just takes way too much energy from me, and I don't have that in me. I'd rather focus it on giving you the content and the words the words that I speak so clearly. Maybe not right now, but I want to give you the information. So yeah, follow along, follow at Open Sky Stories, from hashtag from story to book, hashtag Pixie and the Fox, and get ready, we're gonna have some fun. And I just, because I've been watching myself on this, I want to point out I have a whole bunch of bruises on my arm, as you can see. And before anyone like thinks anything weird is happening, I went treetop trekking with my kids, my teenagers, yesterday, and tried to prove I was still 26 years old, even though I'm 47, and I had a lot of issues, but it's good. I'm fine. I just am covered from head to toe in bruises. All good. Yes, Pixie and the Fox, please follow along, because I really want to share some cool stuff with you. All right. If you have any questions, also put them in the comments, or send me a DM, or send me an email, and I'm happy to answer any of your questions about book publishing and my experiences doing that. Yay! Go Pixie and the Fox. Go book writing. I can't wait to share all of this with you.